Welcome to the Wednesday stream, everyone. We are live. We are live. I am Max, your host, the RHMax channel. Today, we have RG3 on the first episode of HEX Unaffected. This is a series. The story is I asked RG3 what he wanted to talk about on stream, and he said HEX, and I'm like, you know what? I like talking about HEX too. Let me start the series where I just basically have people on, and we just focus on talking about HEX and more the either philosophical side, kind of current events. Doesn't have to be TA, doesn't have to be charts. It's more of like the ethos and the community and just really getting people involved in the spirit of the products we love so dear, the principles that we like to go by as well, and just what makes people stay in this ecosystem. This is not the come here, pump and dump and leave ecosystem. I'm sure some people do that, but overall it is a place where products and people can thrive. And that's, again, the name of the channel, not the name of the channel, but the description, if you look in the channel, is, for me, a lot of my goals are help people become the best version of themselves in DeFi and crypto, at least. And we talk about a lot of life stuff as well, of course, when we get into wealth mindset and mad gains mindset and a lot of philosophy too. But I think it is really important to have discussions around HEX and just, the fundamentals of the ecosystem. And while we're all here, so very, very excited for that. Without further ado, welcome El Capitan RG3. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, what's up, RHMax?
It's been a while, man.
Again, man. Been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. But I'm always seeing your stuff because your alerts come across more than anybody's. It's like you're putting content out 2, 3, 4 times a day. I love it. You're putting in the work, man. My hat's off to you.
I appreciate that. I really, of course, we can't give enough hats off to you for the PulseChain tour and just all the stuff you've done throughout the years. And definitely being one of the people in the ecosystem that's I feel like you're like the rock. You're like one of the rocks in the ecosystem where, okay, things going sideways, things going this way. Otherwise, RG3 is like, yeah, we got the El Capitan, right? Like the captain steers the ship, and we really appreciate you. Seriously, I don't think you get enough of praise for that.
I appreciate it. No, I'm not looking for the praise. I'm looking for us to go where I envision us going as a community, because Richard put the product out that was going to get us there. We had a little talk about this on a couple streams just recently. There's a lot of good crypto communities out there. There's a lot of good people in crypto that are in other communities and all these other coins and whatnot. The problem is that those cryptos failed those communities. Not that the communities failed the cryptos failed the communities. So they weren't able to advance like us. Like we've failed time and time. I can't say we failed. We faltered. We've made mistakes. We've had people come in and go from this community that have done things that haven't been above board or whatever. And HEX has never failed. So the community still gets to thrive, still gets to move forward, still gets to grow. And that's why I've stuck around and stuck with it, because we are the marketing arm or the voice of the cryptocurrency. The community is supposed to be that. There is no marketing in crypto. It's word of mouth advertising. It's a community development. It's us going out and telling it's just going to tell one person about what HEX is and tell them with passion and tell them what your experience is. And then bringing them on board, onboarding them. And enough of us do that, then the people who are really good at it and really efficient at it will come. And then what happens is we get the networking effect and it starts to grow exponentially. And it's just one telling one. And then the networking effect, which we always talk about, Metcalfe's law, takes effect. And that's how the word gets out. And that's how the cryptocurrency grows. That's how all of our bags get pumped. So mad gains is a residual effect of us all going out and doing the right thing. And because we have a crypto like HEX that's out there, that's not going to fail, that's always going to continue to do what it's doing, is always going to be the best product on the market, we as a community can take that and run with it and go create the network effect. So, we have cycles, bear, bull, and we're in that bear cycle. So everything's hard right now. Everyone's running away. Everyone's hiding in their closets in the fetal position. But in my opinion, it's time. This is when the tough get going. This is when you go and fight. This is when you win the battles. It's when everyone's down, when everyone's not looking, when everybody's resting on their laurels. This is when you build. This is when you grow. This is when you go. So
we are the living and breathing testimonials.
Thanks, Bugs.
For better, for worse. Yeah. It's that's something I want to get into with you too. It's just, again, very passionate. You describe Hex, you describe the ecosystem, everything very eloquently. Like you're literally like giving these speeches on tour. I've seen you in person when you came to Seattle and stuff too. Had amazing experience. Really loved everything put together, and you talking to people and really getting people involved in this. But you and me and everyone else in the world, we could be spending our time, energy, effort on anything else. And I want to ask you just a fundamental question too, like why Hex? Why Hex? Why are you so confident in the ecosystem? And just really like, why this? You could do anything else. We all could be somewhere else right now, but we're not. Why is that?
So my philosophy in life is, people ask me, what do you want, RG? What do you want? A little bit more. That's what I want. A little bit more. I always want a little bit more. A little bit more for my family, a little bit more for myself, a little bit more for my community, a little bit more for the people around me, a little bit more for the world. I want everything to be a little better, right? And so how do you do that? Well, for a long time, I was a slave to the blue collar world where I was working every day for, 12, 14, 16-hour days, trying to feed my family, keep my wife at home, take care of the kids, that kind of stuff, and, but I always wanted more. So when I came home, I spent time trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to do things on the side, and trying to find that one thing that was going to make me fulfilled as far as a human being goes. It's like that I was contributing, not just selling a widget and making some money off of it, but what can I do on my spare time to really fulfill my goals as a human being and do something that was going to help the world, that was going to either change my community or help the world, whatever, of course, always thinking small, community, whatever. And I was running through and I did a lot of marketing things, and I did a lot of things in software development as far as the gaming world was concerned, and got involved in a lot of different communities. And then I stumbled across crypto. And when I stumbled across crypto, that was like my big aha moment. Like, holy crap. Like, this is that thing that I can get involved with and help market because of reading Satoshi white paper and seeing, what it was really all about, the cypherpunk movement and what they were all about, and reading their IRC chat rooms and stuff and what was going on in there. I was like, these guys want to change the world of finance, and they're giving it to all of us to go do it. So like, I can get involved and go do this. And so that's what why I do this, because, I got into crypto around 2014 was my first experience with it. I mean, I saw it before Bitcoin came out. They were shilling in-game cryptocurrencies to us at the time, trying to get us to put them in our platforms and stuff in 2008, 2009. And then when Bitcoin came out, we're like, whatever, that glorified PayPal cryptographic crap that they're trying to show. I didn't think of much about it. Then in 2014, I got involved and started actually seeing what was happening. And it was at that moment that I said, okay, I got to get involved. I got to read what this is about. And then the cypherpunk movement was like, man, this is it. This is where I can make my contribution and I can get involved. But it was garbage for, from 14 to 17. It was just nothing, going on. And then until I was ready to leave the whole thing, I was like, I'm done with this shit. I'm out of here. They've usurped this thing. It's just a bunch of, PT Barnums and fucking shell game players and whatever. Oh, sorry, I'm language. So I was ready to bail on it all until I saw Richard, and he made that top call in 2017, 18 crash, and hated him, despised him for that. But I was like, hey, this guy's smart, so maybe you should listen to him. So that's when I started listening to Richard. And then he started talking about some, fluid dynamics coin and all that stuff. And I was like, it was over my head.
Shout out to CFD token.
CFD. Yeah. And so I wasn't too interested in, and it was like, and then he came out with this Bitcoin Hex thing. And I started looking at him like, wait a second. This is like what I'm looking for. This is like true DeFi, right? And I'm like, is this true DeFi? Is he really talking about a DeFi coin here? Like self-custody, interest bearing, yield, you generate yield on it, and no mining. I mean, all the things that I wanted to see go away, like Hex did it. Like Hex gamed the system. It was like, oh, checkmate on all of crypto. And so I was rooting for him. I was like, hope this guy really does this thing. And then, when he launched it, we were all like, hey man, this is going to be the end all be all. And we were all very cautiously optimistic and watching it. And the FUD was so thick, and it was just like, you almost couldn't believe in it. It was so bad, And, but we stuck with it. And because of that, you know, first I was convinced that Richard Hart had changed crypto forever. And then as I went through the FUD and I helped develop the community and got involved and I started putting my own capital into the system and helping to build, I became convicted. I wasn't no longer convinced. I was convicted. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm convicted to go out and take this ecosystem to the world. No matter what, if I got 10 people to show up, so be it. I will talk to 10 people just as passionate as if I was talking to 50,000 people at a stadium, just the same way. And that's what I do. I'm going to go out and keep passing that message and keep trying to get people to understand what Richard Hart has done, what he's done for the whole world, basically. See, we said in the beginning that crypto was going to get it eventually. They were going to get what Richard did. And they were going to, because in the beginning it was FUD. You guys are fools. You guys are idiots. Richard's a scammer. You guys, this thing's going to zero. And we proved them all wrong and Richard proved them all wrong. And we're still standing. We won that battle. So now I'm convicted. Now I know that eventually the whole world is going to see it the same way because nothing's changing. Nothing's changed. Hex is still Hex. Hex is still doing what it's doing. It's still the thing that we said it was. It's still like should be getting Nobel Prizes for some of its modeling that it's created. You know, its inflation model. The way that interest is bared with the T-shares, all these things are like, should be looked at by, you know, Nobel Prize laureates or whatever to give these guys what they deserve for it, because it's going to change the world. So that's it. I'm convicted. I'm not going anywhere. That's why I'm here. To whom much is given, much is expected. I've been given enough wealth to retire, to go away, to not have to do this anymore and just spend time with my family. But because I'm convicted, I can't. I have to go and do what I'm doing. I have to give back. I have to be part of this. You know, that's why we made the movie. That's why we built the things that we've built. And that's why we continue streaming and talking to people, whether there's 5 people in a room or 50,000, we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's, I definitely see a difference between, you know, you talking about your actions, a lot of things. And then I just feel like there's a difference between wanting to make a contribution, because clearly you want to make a contribution. You know, the mad gains, everyone wants the mad gains, but contribution is like first and foremost. And that's something that you can choose anything in life to do that with. But hey, you got this wonderful product in front of you, you got this wonderful community. You know, this is the incubator for greatness in that way as well. Is there, can you look around the community and see just people making contributions, the ones that are still here, the ones that, you know, stream in the bear market or going out touring in the bear market or doing all these things? Is there a difference between those and the people who come in and say, okay, can I make money here? No, I can't. Not right now. Oh my gosh, SEC thing happened. Definitely don't want anything part of this. How do you resonate with the people who come back and forth?
You know, I don't have anything ill to say about anybody that's in this ecosystem, good, bad, or indifferent. You know, we need them all. We need them all to teach us lessons. We need them all to show us who they are. We need them all to show everybody who we are. Look, the only way people that are, you know, bearing through, pun intended, the bear market and putting in the work are by people who don't. The people who are fair weathered streamers or whatever. They're the ones that are exposing themselves and making all of us look like we're doing the work, you know? And so we need all of that, you know? I'm not the one that's going to be out there saying, hey, I'm the only one doing this, you guys. But, you know, the actions of everyone else in the whole space proves that itself. And so we need all that. And that's fine. We need it. I don't have anything to say about them. You know, I'm going to do my thing and keep moving forward and let all of them prove who they are. But I mean, and I can't name much names, but we got Hexo and DCC that, you know, have been here from the beginning, that are still doing things and working hard and have always contributed good content, you know? And then we've got newcomers coming on the stream like Somi. I mean, what a freaking, that guy just tears it up every single time. Like you coming in and just putting in the work, always hitting different concepts, different ideas, different things, day after day after day. That takes work. That takes effort. That takes a lot, you know, and you're doing it basically out of the goodness of your heart, because you know, you're not getting paid for this. I know what YouTube streamers make, and none of us in the HEX ecosystem are killing it. That's for damn sure, you know, and mostly it costs us money. It costs us for all this equipment. It costs us time. It costs us effort. And there's a lot in the background that goes on, especially all the editing you do and all of the subjects that you cover. There's a lot of studying and work, and people need to appreciate that by supporting, you know, and being part of. And if you're not a streamer, if you're not somebody putting content out and doing that, just support all these guys. Don't go away in the bear market. Be there and recognize their contribution and give them some accolades, throw them some bones, come see their tours, be part of it, you know, all those things. You know, there's a whole team behind the PulseChain tour that, you know, depend on the PulseChain tour for them to help make ends meet. You know, SJ's out there riding around in her bus, going from location to location, handing out flyers, setting up the location for the next run, carrying all the equipment, making sure that gets taken care of, doing all of my background work. I mean, and this is, you know, she's not a big bag holder or anything. She's out there working. Black Hexagon, amazing manager, like skills, like real skills, like six-figure skills, out there doing this out of the kindness of her heart. And the Hexagons are supporting by coming to the events. You know, we're not making a killing. I make zero off of any of this. This is all out of the, you know, my kindness, helping out the community, trying to put something together for them, bringing other streamers into the fold so that people aren't just listening to me. They can hear their local streamer in that area, you know, get up on stage and speak from the heart, and eye to eye, and handshakes, hugs, and high fives, which is what really develops relationships, which really builds community. You can't do it 2D. You got to have some interaction. We've got to have some, you know, some friendships. You and I, you know, we've high five, hugged, and handshaked. And now you and I have a different relationship than we would have had just if we were 2D. You know, we've met one another. We've seen each other. We've talked to each other. We broke bread with each other. You know, those things are important for building community. It's got to be a little deeper than just this surface 2D thing where we're sitting in our basements eating Hot Pockets and talking to each other once in a while.
Hoping the chart goes up. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I actually have more, you know, when I think about people who aren't streaming right now or aren't creating content or just are taking a break in whatever way, I actually am grateful that they haven't left the community. I'm okay with them taking a break because I know once they recharge, once they see that whatever they need to get, whatever they need to see, whatever break they need to take, they're going to come back hopefully even stronger or just as strong. So I'm actually okay with anyone who wants to take a break with this. I don't, you know, blame them, call them out or anything. I think taking a break is much better than leaving. And everyone, you know, everyone's got stuff going on in their lives. They need to take time off. You know, I tell everyone, you know, speaking of, you know, you mentioned costing money. Yes, this thing does cost money. It costs time. It costs brain power. I don't monetize the channel. Everyone, you know, a lot of people know that as well. So this is literally because I love this community. And I hope that inspires other people to come join, see, hey, these people, they're not here just for the mad gains. Mad gains, we want the mad gains. Of course we do. But they're here for like the bigger message. Like I'm an RHMaxy for his ideals, and then his products just fall in line with that. So it's like super natural for me to even be here right now. But I think that's important for community building and really to keep the soul, the heart intact of these places that we want to last forever. We want this thing to, you know, we want this Ponzi to go forever, just like the government, just like everything else that's turned out good for the people.
Well, and the community is so young and so new that we're literally developing the root system right now. Like these are the roots that we're developing, and we're building a strong foundation. You know, it's a strong rooted foundation that's being built in this community because it's all organic. It's all organic. Richard hasn't put any money into it or any effort really into any of our productions. He's never given me advice. He's never paid me money. He's never even hardly thanked me for what we've done. And that's the way it should be. I'm not complaining. I'm saying that's the way it should be. Richard doesn't need to be part of this. Richard gave us the tools. Richard gave it. And I remember him early on in his stream saying that. He's like, hey, look, I built it for you. You guys go and do the stuff. Go do it on your own. It's not going to be me. You do it. And I took that to heart. I'm like, you know what? He's absolutely right. We're the ones that've got to go do this. And so, and I knew that, you know, me being who I am, I'm not a streamer. I'm not a crypto expert, you know, but I'm passionate about something. And I know when I'm passionate about something that nothing can stop me. Nobody can outwork me. Nobody can stop me. I'm going to keep going. So if I can just inject a little bit of that attitude into the community and go out there and keep pushing when people don't want to push, you know, and that's another thing, you know, like when being in the Marine Corps, it's like, you know, when they take you to the breaking point and then they break you and then they make you get up and take yourself to the breaking point again and then break you again and make you keep going. That's what I learned in life. That's how life is. And then you don't let these things stop you. You don't let these things deter you from your goal. You get up and you keep going. I call it failing forward. You know, you're never failed. You just fell forward. Now get back up and keep moving forward. Keep going, keep driving. Don't stop. They can't beat us. They will not stop us. We have to just keep going. When we quit, just like when you sell, that's when you lose. When you sell out, when you quit, that's when you lose. If you just hold on and you just keep going, then we win.
I think that's an excellent point too, just about hardworking. You know, I don't have the Marine experience, obviously, but I have, you know, professional experience. I grew up, didn't grow up rich, I'll say that. And I think that a lot of the values instilled in me was working hard and, you know, watching my parents just, you know, struggle and make sure that, you know, we had everything too. It was, for me, it was always this natural thing of, you know, I was thinking again yesterday, you know, why am I here? You know, how am I doing this stuff? Like, you know, what kind of impact am I making? You know, these thoughts come in your mind sometimes. And I just had this thought of, I know how to work hard. So that is one of the skills I bring to the table outside of my professional experience and in technology and security and some of my limited crypto, like blockchain experience too, you know, dev experience, all that stuff. I know how to work hard. So if you know how to work hard, and that's a skill, it's like not everyone knows how to do that. Not everyone, you know, had the same upbringing and otherwise. If you know how to work hard, this is the community where you can put whatever talent you have forward and make a difference. And I think that doesn't happen everywhere. That is something special about our little niche here.
No, and it's because of what we have backing us. You know, you go out and keep working. Hex isn't going to fail you. You can fumble and stumble and fail and move slow or move fast or whatever, but Hex is not going to fail you. It's always going to have your back. It's got your 6 and you're good. Just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Because look, for 4 years now, and I've never, ever seen a cryptocurrency that hasn't had a problem in 4 years. I've never seen it. There's always something going on somewhere, you know, and Hex has been flawless. So that proves to me that the conviction is real. The conviction is right. We're on the right side of history and we just got to keep moving forward. I mean, look, we had trouble and it wasn't because of Hex. It was because of Ethereum. We had trouble. Well, Richard adjusted, overcame and adapted and created PulseChain to save Hex. And he did. He saved Hex. Now Hex is even better than it was before because now it's on a completely decentralized L1 that didn't exist before. Now we have another amazing product with an L1 that is decentralized more than anything else out there. 41,000 validators we have online now.
43 now. 43.
Woo! I mean, it's going up like 1,000 a day now. It's just like boom, boom, boom. It's moving so fast. So yeah, we've got it good here. Richard has done well for all of us and by all of us. And we owe it to him to go out and develop the community that it deserves.
Well, it's definitely not a community without critics. Trolls, we have famously over years and years, many famous ones, many nameless ones as well. You know, from the outside looking in, if you're not in this community, there's plenty of things where you can point your finger. Whoa, what's going on there? Oh, that looks suspicious. Oh, sketchy. What? So, you know, maybe the people. I just want to frame this as this, you know, theoretical conversation. It'll never come from anyone else. But someone says, guys, you know, why do you want to keep this Ponzi going? Why haven't you lost enough yet? Just give up. Why do you keep doing this yourselves to other people? You keep getting more people in just to prop up the price, all this stuff. To Hex and PulseChain, the copy pasted PulseChain thing from Ethereum. It's, you know, what would you say to, you know, people who just can't overcome this? This is not the place I want to be. Why are you guys still doing this? It's going to fail. What do you say to people like that?
Well, I think I've kind of just answered all those, and we know that a lot of those narratives are market sentiment. The market's down 90%. The reason Hex is down more is because of the timing of everything that has transpired with, we've got what, 4 tokens now. We've got multiple other shiny object tokens being built on it that have diluted the HEX ecosystem. So HEX has been diluted with PulseChain, PulseX, and the Ink token. On top of that, all the beautiful projects that are being built on top of it have diluted. Now, this isn't a bad thing, but it's delusion, and it's going to spread the wealth around, and it's going to make the prices of everything go down because the money has been redistributed around. But I think that's a good thing. It's not a comfortable thing. I'm glad it's happening in the bear market when maximum pain is already here. So why not have another little bit more pain added to it, right? But as we grow, as we develop, as we pull out of this bear market and we go into the bull market, all of these things are going to start shining. All of the projects that were built on PulseChain that are going to be good projects are going to reveal themselves and start to proof themselves. So it's going to be good times. It's going to get better, and we all know this because we've all seen what the history of what crypto has done. We all know what these bear bull cycles look like. There's nothing new. They keep doing it. They've done it over and over. In fact, the chart of the last 4 or 5 bull cycles, they're identical. They're all identical. You can see them lined up next to each other. They're all identical. Timelines, everything right there with the happening, all happening. And those of us who've been through 3 or 4 of them know what's coming. And it is. Crypto's not going anywhere. The SEC has basically lost their battle to try and shut it down. They're trying to join us now. They're trying to see how deep they can get their claws into it. So I'm very bullish on the next year of what this bull market's going to bring. Don't know when it's going to start, how long it's going to last. Last cycle kind of, faked us all out. We thought it was going to go a little longer than it did. Didn't. And so now it's about adjustment and adjusting for that next cycle. How long is the cycle going to last? Don't know. Is it going to be a super cycle like they're talking? I don't know. But it's looking like because of the elongated bear market, and what I've understood with all of this is like kinetic energy. The longer and longer you pull back, like drawing a bow back, the longer and stronger you pull a bow back, the further that arrow flies. And that's what I think is happening here. We're getting a lot of kinetic energy built up. The spaces, we're seeing a lot of institutional money getting sidelined and ready to go. We saw what they did the last couple of bull runs with that. They took it to $1 trillion, then they took it to $3 trillion. Well, the word on the street is this one's going to go 7, 8, maybe even 10 trillion. So it's coming, and Hex and Pulse are going to get a lion's share of that for being DeFi. Now, the powers that be are making options for people out there. There are a lot of options in the TradeFi world now to get involved in crypto via the stonks market products and whatnot, So there's going to be a lot of options for people to get involved. So they're going to be indirectly involved in crypto, and that money is going to flow. So I like that. I like seeing that because we're going to have our DeFi space. And I think Richard Hart is the one who really cornered that whole space and has his grips on it. And then there's going to be the TradeFi world where everybody's going to kind of be involved with these ETFs and everything else that they're going to get. And we're going to see lots of money flow into the system. And then I think as time goes on and people want to use these tools in the DeFi world, that we will see a lot of adoption because of that. The true crypto folks will start to migrate over to PulseChain and the HEX product.
What are the, because I know you talk to a lot of people.
So that's my word to them guys. Anyway, I don't see the FUD and the trolls. I don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. And they're just trying to make things look bad. And yeah, that's my long answer to those guys. Things are
I definitely agree that, it's definitely easy to see when all the prices are down, you see the coin that you always thought that was a scam. Oh, look, now it's definitely a scam, that sort of thing. I don't know. There's a lot of cheap shots. I think they're easy to throw out there.
And the cheap shots are easy to deflect now because it's like you guys threw it all at us in the beginning. Peter McCormick made himself look like an asshole. All of those people that came after Richard made themselves look like assholes. Those lawyers that Tone Vase brought, they look like assholes. Richard didn't get in trouble for HEX at all. Like they tried to get hit. They came out so strong and so confident of how he was going to get in trouble and how the SEC was going to come. They've never even asked him about HEX. They've never even come at him about HEX. HEX is truly a finished product, DeFi as hell, and you can't stop it. And they know that, and they're not coming after that. They're trying to find other little angles. So all of those guys are clowns. They have no validity. They're all insignificant now. Peter McCormick made his bed that day and has been going downhill ever since. The BTC maxis have really made fools of themselves over the years for not advancing, for not putting Bitcoin in its place, for not saying, hey, this was and it's because they have big bags. Let's not ever forget the reason why they shill so hard is because they want to pump their bags. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget that behind their rhetoric is their bags. Bottom line, because no one in the whole entire tech world sits and looks at an old technology and said it is the end all be all. Never. If this was something that didn't have value as far as people holding on to the token and it having, a number keep going up, then the whole community would have come together and said, we need a better technology. Let's move on. We need a better technology. Let's move on. We need a better technology. Let's move on. That's how tech works. Not this way. This way is because they all got big bags and they need to shill them and get them bigger in order to make themselves more wealthy. Don't ever forget that.
Still unbelievable that the Bitcoin Magazine deleted that interview with Richard at one time. That was, that was unexplainable to me. I'm like, seriously, you guys did the interview. It was all official. You had the guy, hosting it and back and forth and all this stuff. And then you delete the interview knowing that someone else is going to upload it. I don't know what the point of that was. That's one of the mysteries of Bitcoin Magazine.
Yeah. Well, they're trying everything that they can to keep their heads above water. Like building the Rube Goldberg machine that is Bitcoin now and all of its little things that sit on top of it in order to make it work and function like they want it to. Instead of building a whole nother token, instead of looking at something like HEX that came out better, they want to sit there and try and pump their own bags. That's what it is. That's what it's always going to be about. And you have to remember that when they speak, whenever they do something, whenever they're out there fudding or trolling or whatever, that's the underlying reason behind everything that they do is to pump their own bags. And once you realize that and you've got it, you can just walk away and go, my back's turned to those guys. I ain't going to even worry about it. Yeah, they got the power. Yeah, they got the voice. Yeah, they got everything behind them. Yeah, they got the whole world talking about Bitcoin. But eventually that's going to die. Eventually that's going to go away. And will Bitcoin go away? No. It's always going to be the gold standard of crypto. It's always going to be, digital gold. But look at where gold is today. Gold has been a very stagnant, stale, very weak investment. Period. I don't care who you are. Go look at it. Yeah, okay, it's solid, but you know what? It's really just never done anything. Not like what cryptocurrencies have done and what they can do in the future here as we start to develop them and put new products out that are going to replace the products that are, in the real world finance.
Yeah, the mad gains are gone, and people's contribution to those communities is very limited compared to such as HEX and PulseChain. So that's I mean, if nothing else, there's that. But for the people who are serious about, you've talked to a lot of people and stuff, and maybe onboard a lot of people as well. I imagine the people, the people who are serious, not the trolls, not the critics, not the huge critics. You explain it to them, and they're like, I have a problem with this. What is there like one or two things that are just the things that you've helped people overcome that they want to invest, but they can't get past this particular thing, but you've kind of got them over that hump?
Well, first of all, in crypto in general, it's very difficult to onboard a no coiner. So you've got to walk through the process of setting them up with an account, whether it's Gemini or Coinbase or whatever it may be. You've got to do that. And so that's the first hurdle. And that takes you a few days because they got to hook their bank account up and do all the KYC ML stuff. And then you get them to buy their first, token, some Ethereum or whatever, because they need it to transact and do the things that you're going to teach them to do. So you have to explain why they have to do all of that. And then you bring them in and then you get them a MetaMask or an internet money wallet or something to that nature to get them over into the real DeFi space. And, and then it's time for them. So the onboarding process is arduous. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be changed. It needs to be easier. So walking somebody through that and letting them know that things are changing and that this is, the beginning stages of all this, which, been around for 12 years and we're still doing it this way. Walking them through that and ensuring them that things are okay, but they are getting their money into a better place once they do get into the real crypto world, out of the exchanges, just boom, in quick, out, just to use it as an onboard platform. And then there's the hurdle that I see. So somebody wants to get into HEX. The first thing they do is they hit Google and they Google HEX. And the first thing they see is Richard Hart. And they start looking at Richard Hart. And then they go down a rabbit hole. And let's face it, there was nothing but FUD in the beginning. They've got whole websites and chat rooms dedicated to defaming Richard himself. On top of HEX, we have all those for HEX too. And then we have his outrage marketing years where all of that stuff is clipped and pushed up there. So when they go into that, then you have to go through the hurdle of talking to them about all of that and why it exists and why it's out there and what it meant. And I just go in and tell people like I do, and I say, look, I see all this, I understand it. And I know that what you're seeing, and I've dealt with all of it for the last 4 years here. And it's not because there's a scam going on. It's because of trying to be loud and get marketing, getting people to hear us. And the fights and the stuff that Richard did was all about getting clicks, about getting attention. The gatekeeping was really about how good the product is. Let's face it. The reason that we're gatekept as much as we are, and the reason people like me aren't allowed to go and talk to, the crypto folks out there, I can't get on these other streams or whatever, is because they don't want to hear what we've done. They don't want people to know what we've done, what Richard has done. They don't want to know about how strong this community is, and it would be awesome to join it. They don't want to know how a crypto is finally decentralized, how L1 has finally been decentralized. They don't want to know that because it goes up against their narrative of continue shilling the Bitcoin so that they can pump their bags. So we're gatekept. And that's what I tell people. And I say, look, the other thing is, and most of them have known me for a long time. I say, I'm a good judge of character. I don't mess around with people who are scammers, with people who are doing the wrong thing. That's not how I run my life. It's not how I operate. Now, I was skeptical of Richard Hart for a long time because I thought he was goofy. First thing, I thought he was just, a tech geek goofball. And then I realized that he was a lot more than that. I realized that he was somebody who had a big heart, that he cared, and that he wanted to change things, that he wanted to make things better, and he wanted to help other people make things better. Now, that's what really hooked me into Richard, was when I started seeing his self-help stuff. I'm like, man, this guy's trying to actually help other people. And that right there, that's where me and him connected, because that's what I do on a regular basis. I mean, my shirt here, my Amuse shirt. This is my niece's organization to help autism. She's got an organization out here in Southern California, and we contributed to it. My foundation contributes to it. And I support people who do things like that in the communities. And I work in the drug and alcohol community myself for helping people with addiction. So I resonated with Richard, and I tell people, look, this guy is a good guy. The things that the things that he's doing are not to enrich himself as far as monetarily, but to enrich himself, to feel better, that he's out there helping other people and changing the world for the better. That's what Richard Hart wants. That's who he is at his core. I've met the man. We've sat down and had dinner. I've talked to him. I've looked him in the eyes. I've streamed with him multiple times. I've watched all of his streams, hours and hours and hours. And there are little things that you see that Richard Hart says and does that makes you realize that he is a good human being and that he is doing right by the people. Now, that was a risk I took early on. And it was the right risk to take because I believed in him. And I say that in the film. I say that on stream. I believed in Richard Hart because of who he was as a human being. And I took that risk. Now, trust is a mathematical equation. I had to give him trust in order for it to come back. You know what I mean? And I trusted Richard Hart. That's what I say in the film. And I trust Richard Hart. I spent my trust capital on him in hopes that he was doing the right thing based on my judgments of him. And he did. He did right by me. He did right by me and my family. And he's done right by the world, in my opinion. So that's, again, why I'm out helping to take his product to the world, because that's what Richard Hart wants. And I'm going to give back to him and help him fulfill his goal of being a good human being that's loved by the world because he brought something to the world that it needs, by helping him to get the word out on that and to help him market it and to put my effort, resources, time, all the things that are important to me, nothing more important than time and money. So I'm going to put all those things into helping him because he's helped me.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's the first reaction people have is either, wow, this is the coolest guy ever, or total scammer. I'm going to go with the scammer part. It's all because it's the easy one, right? It's the easy one. This guy's probably like, if you meet a new person, if you come off the street too, you're going to be like, all right, magician, does some self-help stuff. That's kind of cool. Oh, he's got a crypto. Oh, he's twerking over here. Oh, but he's got, all these followers, all these people, this huge community. It really is hard to say which is which. So you got to take a leap of faith somewhere. I always tell people, like, why this ecosystem and stuff. It's like, you got to bet on some horse. You got to be, if you were going to be involved, you got to, and for me, I got to pick something. If I'm going to pick something, I'm going to go into it as hard as I can do. And Richard, no matter how many Prada bags he buys, or he's silent on Twitter for a week, or whatever happens, it's like, he already built everything we need anyways. So at this point, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm here, and this is I don't know. I tweeted before too. I was like, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks after PulseChain launched. RH, no matter what happens from here, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you've done, and I think we got it. And that's the part that I think people have a hard time getting over is, he's not around as much right now. Probably, I imagine, strategic reasons. And that doesn't have to last forever. It's just, this is the quiet period. Totally fine with me. But people almost need that. They need to see a founder. They need to see a leader in front. They need to, or at least they feel like they need that kind of direction. But I said this the other day. It's like that decentralized feeling. It's almost a paradigm shift in yourself of, I don't need someone to lead me because I already have everything. The community's here. We have everything we need with the code. How do you get people? How do you get people to wrap their heads around, like, Richard doesn't need to be streaming every day for this thing to be successful? How do you get around that?
Because Richard's done. We need to realize that he did what he was supposed to do. He was done with HEX. However, Ethereum failed, and people with big bags. If you got $100,000 coming out in a stake, yeah, okay. So you don't mind paying $800 to unstake it or whatever. But for the small guy, got a few $100 in there, $100 in there, or whatever it is, multiple stakes monthly, coming out, and it costs you half of the stake or all the stake to unstake it. It's broken. It's not working. So when PulseChain, he made PulseChain to fix it. And I forgot where I was going with this, but what did you say right before that?
Oh, how do we get through this paradigm of not relying on Richard streaming every day in order for the thing to go well?
He did his work. I get off on these trails sometimes. He did his work, and he's done. We don't need him. He fixed HEX after HEX had its challenge, which was Ethereum, and so technically we don't need him anymore. Do we love having Richard around and his wisdom, his knowledge of crypto? And right now, as we're trying to figure out his ecosystem, would it be nice to have him give a little direction or say a little bit about what's going on and what's been done? Of course. But I don't think it's time yet. I think that, look, PulseChain's what, 3-4 months old now? It's not that old. It's still proving itself. I still don't think PulseChain is proven. It's doing a really good job. It hasn't gone down, hasn't failed, hasn't had any problems. PulseX too keeps updating it on a regular basis, bringing better and better products. I think that PulseX wasn't ready, and he launched it just to get it out there so that everybody can have PulseChain and stop the wait. But he's done all of his work, and it's up to us to go out there and market. It's up to us to go out and be the voices. There are going to be better representatives of this product coming to the marketplace, to the community. Better representatives than Richard, better representatives than me, better representatives than you. There's going to be better representatives. And it's up to us to go bring those people. Richard's not going to go out there and try and find them. It's us everyday folks that are out there, bringing new people, streaming, showing people what this is all about. And then finally, somebody who's really got it on the ball, it's going to click for them. That viral moment, that viral marketing moment. We're going to get somebody that's going to come in here and just start tearing it up. I mean, I'm seeing it already. I'm seeing it happen. I'm seeing better streamers come in that just have it on the ball, than all of us who started this thing. It's just getting better and better.
What do you think too? Because speaking of PulseChain, it's been around about 4 months now, and as far as I know, it hasn't went up that 10,000x or anything. That a lot of people were hoping, maybe having too many expectations, that it would go up at least more than 2.8x or so. I was thinking about this the other day, and I want to bring it up here too. Is people have talked about it before, where the sacrifice phase, all the coins were worth more money at the time, and then so everything being down so much is it's not quite the full story. For example, didn't the sacrifice phases kind of let us sail the top in the summer 2021, 2022, or the winter 2022, and rolling into HEX, rolling into whatever coins, and then getting that into PulseChain? Even though things are down right now, didn't we kind of sail the top to get into the sacrifice phases?
Yeah, we did. We kind of sold the top to get in the sacrifice phases. For those of us who did that, hey, we saved ourselves from, you could be buying right now, but you still wouldn't be getting the value that you got when you sacrificed. You're still not getting the value, even though the tokens are down under sac price, whatever. You're 90. Don't forget, you're 90% down on your bag from that time. So it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen the other, maybe. So it really doesn't matter. But what happened is that we sacked. The token was so popular. I think we got more action from people wanting to dump it than we actually had from people who were ready to hold it. I think that there were so many investors that saw what Richard did with HEX that they wanted to get in on PulseChain and see if they can get that mad gain from something that Richard Hart put out. And that more than likely was a lot of the disappointment. That more than likely is a lot of what's making the price go down. People just saying, screw it, I'm just out of here. I'm just dumping this thing. So I think we had a lot of that, and a lot more value probably flowed into this sacrifice than probably should have organically, because of all the hype and the pump and what, people were expecting. Like you said, expectations. Maybe not the core community members. I never had an expectation of it. I'm still looking at it going, hey, I'm not worried about it. Thing's 4 months old. This was a long time play here for me. I'm waiting to see what happens in the next 5 years with this thing. Not what's supposed to happen this year or this bull run even. I'm not going to be dumping my stuff for one bull run. No way. Now, do I do the right thing and take profits and dollar cost out? Damn straight. Everybody should be doing that. If we have a big bull run and RG is taking profits, don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand me. I will. I'm not dumping on your heads, but I'm going to take what's mine, what I deserve. and everybody else gets to too. Whether they're dumping or whatever, everybody deserves to cash out. And that's the wrong thing to be bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining about is people cashing out. Yes, it makes the coin go down. Yes, it hurts. But guess what? And that's their right and their prerogative. What happened to the tenets of crypto? What happened to the cypherpunk movement? What happened to our money, our freedom? This is mine. Don't question me with what I do with my money. Don't forget all of that stuff. And I find it disheartening and disgusting when I see people doxing wallets and talking about dumpers, and it doesn't sit right with me. It never has. I don't like that narrative. I don't like people doing that in this community. And just bitching, whining, moaning, and complaining, and it just shows a real puss attitude, man. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I never, when I see people dumping, I mean, I never like to see, hey, the tweet of, oh, somebody just sold a bunch of HEX or merged in staked, and oh, this is going to be bad for price. It's not that I like to see it, but I always respect, hey, those are their coins. They're their coins. They can do whatever they want with them. They earned them. They didn't steal them. They didn't mal get them in any way. They do whatever they want. It's their coins. So I try to hold that back of like, no, I respect the holder at that point.
And we cheer when some big whale comes in and buys a whole bunch of it, right? It's like, yeah, nobody's like, oh, why did he get so much of it? Now he's got more than everybody else. You don't see that kind of bitching and whining and complaining because price went up. Yeah. When they sell, price go down, piss everybody off.
It's almost aspirational when I see a whale stem. It's like, you know what? That'd be nice if I would, not that I want to be a whale dumping, but it's like, maybe I should get some more coins. Maybe I would be in that position to even do that, even make that decision one day.
Exactly. Now is the time to do it when it's under a penny. It's starting to creep up. We're having some green days this week, aren't we?
It is kind of incredible. I use the fatty.io to look at some of the, you can just type an address in, look at whales. You can look at your own account otherwise, and every once in a while I'll refresh and be like, whoa, that number went up. That's cool. Real quick. Breaking news from Kinetics. PulseChain, it's speculation here. The PulseChain could be, appears as use PulseChain bridge buying and selling crypto. Are the gatekeepers back? RG3, are they back? Are we getting more fans of the PulseChain bridge? What's going on? Your first reaction?
The gatekeeping isn't going to stop. Yeah.
I hope this is not the case, by the way. This is, I've asked Connects for some more information on this. And he said he talked to customer support. Not exactly sure. Nobody, take it for, hey, this is gatekeeping, perhaps, but we don't know a lot yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's the choke point is the on ramp and the off ramp. That always has been. That's the only place I've had any problems while being in the HEX ecosystem is on ramping and off ramping. And you've got to worry about your bank. You've got to worry about them. You've got to worry about bridges, all those things, moving stuff through there. That's what needs to be fixed, and I sure hope not. I sure hope they're not going to, keep trying to squeeze every little avenue for us to on ramp and off ramp off. I mean, hey, we've got OX Coast now, right? That's working in our ecosystem. So maybe we can circumnavigate the issue of having to deal with these other entities that are gatekeeping us. It's a slippery slope, though. When we talk about it, it just brings more attention to them, to us, because we're bad mouthing them, and I'd rather work with them, because I saw Coinbase starting to kind of come to light a little bit, going up against the SEC, boom, boom, boom. And now this kind of stuff. And it's like, really, guys? Really? The most decentralized cryptos on the platforms, and you guys want to show your colors like Uniswap did by delisting HEX. I mean, what a play was that? Like, you are being touted as the decentralized exchange on crypto, and you show your cards by delisting a decentralized cryptocurrency. I mean, what a fumble. I mean, that's a fumble right there. And they should never, the whole crypto world should never be, or should always be reminded of that and what Uniswap has done by doing that. That's just, I can't believe they did it. I really can't believe they did it, but they showed that they're a centralized agent, and now they're putting out more stuff that's proof that they're even more centralized than even thought before. So anyway.
Yeah, it's. I really hope we're able to get products. So I mean, that, again, like you said before, the PulseChain helps us not be gate kept. If we own the gates, we can open them, whenever we want. We can freely go there. So products like Coast and any other fiat on ramps or otherwise that enable us to not have to use the big players who may or may not be friendly with us, whether it's Uniswap or Coinbase or otherwise. Of course, we want to work with them. We want them to see, hey, there's nothing wrong with this stuff. Nothing wrong with the bridge. This is not one big, it's not one big scam. Like stop. You don't even have to give us respect, but just stop going out of your way to make things harder for people who are trying to believe in this vision, and go after the real ones. Like that's what we say too. Like why us? Why does anyone have anything bad to say about us when there's 10,000 other pump and dump rug pull, non-magic carpet rides out there that they could be looking at? And are we just the most popular one that they don't really understand?
Well, I said it in the beginning. They don't want what we have. They don't want us to be king, which we are. It's just a matter of them catching up to what Richard's done. It already checkmated the whole crypto freaking world. He already beat them. So the powers that be don't want it to be, the powers that be in crypto, I should say, don't want it to be the end all be all, which it is right now. So they're being loud. This whole SEC thing to me is a farce. I can't believe the way it's written up. It's amateur hour. Whoever brought these charges up against Richard, it's really, really looking really weak to me. So it just tells me that it was kind of set up from within the crypto space to flood us. And of course, in this space, nobody does their real research. Nobody's going to go back and look at 3 years of what we've been saying, of what us, guys that have 10,000 followers have been saying. We're nothing. We're a spit in the bucket of this whole crypto space. These guys have, millions of followers, these other influencers, and all these people that are speaking on crypto as authorities, and all of them, even like Tone Vase, he has a voice. He has credibility in the crypto space for the most part. Not with us, of course, because we know him to be a joker. We know him to be a liar, a cheat, and a thief himself. So, when they're listening to all of these people, and instead of doing the research or listening to what we have said, of all of us small voiced little tiny community that we are, they're listening to the other stuff. And they're making knee-jerk reactions to protect themselves in this volatile environment with the SEC coming in and out of crypto, banning stuff and slapping people around, all this stuff. So, I don't necessarily blame Uniswap for what they did, but I think they might have known a little bit more about what was going on than, like, say, the average. Because, I mean, HEX made Uniswap popular. Uniswap wasn't jack until HEX came around, and we blew it up. We blew it up. So I kind of thought that they would have a little bit more on the ball of understanding who Richard was and what HEX was and what was going on here, and read the SEC complaint and all that. So, I mean, and I don't know if that's why they did it. There might be some other reasons why they did behind the scenes stuff or backroom shit that's going on. I don't know. But on the surface, it looks really weak that they did what they did. But I can't really completely blame them.
I think if you're going to be decentralized, be decentralized. Like, don't be a gatekeeper. And if you're going to be centralized, have some accountability. Like, don't just, make it very hard to cross certain lines, such as, blacklisting tokens and stuff. I think that would be a better way for them to approach it. And I hope they do. We're just talking about Air token. I'm sure there's other tokens that are involved. I'm sure that there isn't just like they're having a meeting, they're going around the table. Okay, it's just this one HEX thing we got to do. It's like, no, they probably have a bunch of listed tokens. We got involved in that list, unfortunately. And, the censorship is too much. I don't like pick a side. You don't have both, and have some accountability if you're going to be doing stuff like that. I would appreciate more of that, at least.
Yeah.
But I want to wrap up on PulseChain Tour. What kind of impact this is something, it's been a project of yours for a while now. Been going at least since this summer, right? Or when did it
We
start?
started right before the summer. Yeah.
What kind of impact do you hope to have with PulseChain Tour?
So I was hoping to get that human interaction going, sitting down with, streamers, OG streamers, hexicans, community members, and then bringing no coiners to the mix, and doing that town to town to town, big locations where people can, gather and get to easily enough, where it doesn't cost them too much money or anything, real minimal fees, nothing outlandish, just to make it to where we can get together and have some good conversations, and teach people about the RH ecosystem, about HEX and Pulse and PulseX, and the history of crypto, and why HEX, Pulse, and PulseX are important, and what they mean in the history of crypto. That's what my talk is about. I talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum and the concepts that they proved, and then what Richard did with those concepts and how he bettered them and brought the better brought better crypto to the space. So that's what the whole talk is about. And no coiners, they get to hear, they get to pass all that 10, 12 years of history of bad bad crypto, because let's just face it, crypto hasn't been worth the shit until Richard came out with HEX. Really hasn't. In my opinion, it hasn't. I've seen it all, been through it all, lost, won, all of those backroom deals and pump and dumps and all that shit in the Telegram rooms and all that shit. I've been through it all. Crypto was crap. And now finally, for the first time, we have something real and true. So getting out there on tour and talking about this in front of people with passion is what I want to do, and I think is necessary, because this is a model for filling up stadiums. I'd like to see us fill up stadiums. Now, whether it's me or doing it or not, I'm going to keep doing it until they put the hook on me and pull me off stage and say, no, you're done talking there, old timer. But that's what I want to see. I want to see stadiums filled up with us talking about this and what it can do, because until we have that, until we, have that viral moment and we start taking this thing to the world with virality, we're just sitting here kicking rocks. The next bull market is going to be important. The next bull market is when we're going to see all of our phones blow up. Everybody's going to come to these events, and we're contemplating. We've got the model set up, so we've got the towns, we've got the model, we know how to do it. Black Hexagon is on top of it. She knows exactly what to do and how to make this thing efficient. The community has come together and brought giveaways, and we give away, I think, 5 million Pulse and PulseX on the tour. So we always seem to get that into the hands of some newcomers or some no coiners, and then it's bringing the community together, setting up the model, and getting it ready for the bull run, and hopefully, next year we continue it on and we go into the bull run, getting louder and louder and stronger and bringing you like Axis and Kinetics and all of these guys that are in the chat room. We've got a whole bunch of OGs in your chat room today. Side effects. Look at all these.
You brought
them in. and we get all these guys talking to them too, because these guys all have passion and brain power and knowledge and wisdom of the space that is invaluable. I mean, it's one thing to see it 2D, but to actually sit down and shake Kinetic's hand and see what type of a human being he is, how he really cares for the space and how much time and effort he'll put into just talking to somebody about it, or Axis and the freaking brilliance that guy is. I mean, wow, sitting there and just listening to him, he just blows your freaking mind. Like, you sit there and listen. If you're a crypto person, you sit there and listen to Axis for hours and hours and hours. He's just got that kind of intelligence, and just, he throws the heat like nobody's business. And then seeing what kind of a real human being he is when you sit down and have dinner with him. Like, there isn't a nicer guy on the planet than this dude. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, man. And he's my friend. And it's just that's important for building community. And I'm hoping that in the bull run, we get to continue this, we get to make it bigger, we get to make it stronger, and then it becomes something important to the community where, maybe we end up having Richard tag along somewhere, or meet out with him somewhere in Europe, they take this thing around the globe. I'd love to get to Australia. I'd love to get to Europe. I'd love to, take the tour out there and do some bigger and better things with it. because world deserves it. The world deserves to hear about this. And if they're going to gatekeep us, we got to do everything we can to get the word out, to get louder and louder, because eventually we get so loud, they can't stop us. They can't gatekeep us. The people are just going to come. We already seen it with HEX. People just came. No matter how hard they tried and fudded us, we kept going and more people came and more people came. And that's what we need to do. And that's what the PulseChain is all about, is we built a model that we can take to the world, that we can fill up stadiums with. And that's what I want to do. So get there to Atlanta this weekend, Saturday. There's still tickets available. Really cool story. I'll end with this.
Sure.
Kayla, Black Hexagon, was looking for a venue in Atlanta. And she stumbled across this venue that was called the Atlanta Blockchain Center. And hey, great name, so blockchain, maybe. Well, they let us come in there and do the presentation. So the gentleman that we met there, I had him on my stream last night. We met with him, and last night I discovered all this, that he's a Hexican, not really affiliated with the community or anything, but he got into Hex because Hex was Hex. So he bought Hex in the adoption amplifier phase, got it early, and he sacrificed for Pulse, and he sacrificed for PulseX. And the blockchain center of the Atlanta Blockchain Center actually has an incubation group that is building on the best L1 out there as far as decentralization goes. And they've got projects that they're building and they're working on. And like I said, it's an incubation chamber, and they're all working together and making their products better. And they're doing it on PulseChain because he's decided that PulseChain is and this is outside of the community. This is something going on at the Atlanta Blockchain Center. And so I'm going to go there tomorrow and sit in there, and they're having a Thursday meeting. So I'm going to go and sit in their meeting and watch what they do and how they do it. And it was just an amazing discovery that there's like other pockets and groups of people out there that believe in this like we do, that aren't influenced by the community per se. They were influenced by the product itself, by the L1 itself, and they're building on it. And they're actually developing, incubation groups to build on this L1 that is PulseChain. So I'm really excited to go meet these people and connect with them and be part of their thing. And Thursday night, we're doing a meeting with them. So anybody wants to go Thursday night at the Atlanta Blockchain Center, if you're in town for the meeting or whatever, come out there. And I think it's at 6 p.m. it starts. And so they'll be doing their talk and hang out. And then I may speak there a little bit or something. I don't know. And then Saturday is the actual event. We're having the masterclass event. So all of the, oh boy, let's see. My Telegram is down. So my notes, hold on one second. Let me see real quick. My notes, cause I'm really bad. So we're going to have, Mello is going to be there. Also, Marlon Williams, the founder of Starter Labs and the Blockchain Center, will be there. We're going to have, why is his name not on here? We have Cabana. I know that. So Cabana will be there. And of course, Rags, my good buddy Rags, we're going to have him out there. And then, a guy by the name of, Steve Histon will be, there. Steve Histon. Yeah. So he'll be there, speaking Hexagon. So we're gonna have a masterclass event. It's gonna be cool. A lot of OGs are gonna be coming in. So get there. Go get your tickets at pulsechaintour.com and come hang out with us.
Captain, it's been a fantastic one. We've seen hexagons everywhere, pockets of them at the Atlanta Blockchain Conference as well. PulseChainTour.com, everyone. You should definitely go there. Check out if it's coming to a city near you, or make plans to visit. Like I said, when Captain and Black Hexagon and SJ came by, had an excellent time there myself. So highly recommend that you check it out. Meeting in person, like you said, so much better relationship. It's just different. It's like streaming. I've streamed with people a million times. I meet them in person. I'm like, oh, we are automatically like closer. It's pretty cool.
Yep, it is.
Everyone, check out the Captain. So they'll find you on YouTube, on Twitter,
Discourse Syndicate. Yeah, Discourse Syndicate on YouTube. We're also RG3_pirate on the Twitters, and same for Instagram and the TikToks and all that stuff. We're putting all that together. getting social media'd, man, getting social media'd. And yeah, that's how you can find me. Mostly I'm on Twitter all the time. You can hit me up there. But yeah, go to PulseChainTour.com and check out our dates. We're left. We're going to Texas, Miami, and then back here to Cali for the cruise. Anybody want to go on a cruise in December? We're going to go down to Mexico and have a good time. But always a good time hanging out with Hexicans. Can't wait to see some of you on Saturday at the Atlanta event.
Everyone, that's all we got for you today. RG3, amazing conversation as always. We're going to have to do it again sooner than,
Thanks,
I think
bro.
It's been like over a year or so. I think it's before last summer. So it's right when I first started streaming, I think. So we'll have to get another one in before too long.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on. Catch you soon.
Of course. Scivive and 5555. We are out.